Today we will discuss rappers and people with a B. Then after that we will get into the tall step story of him trying to spin 640 and things going left. First we will get into rappers and people with a B. On this segment, the person we will discuss is 22nd rapper YB Quan Sosa. He is a part of the 4 gang located on 22nd Street Southeast. Allegedly, some members from 22nd and members from Stanton Glen had a big group fight in the cafeteria of Ballou High School. And some days would pass. A 16-year-old YB Quan Sosa would go to school days later. But before entering the school, he would stash a gun nearby for protection from the tension that had been brewing from the past couple of days. Another fight would occur, causing YB Quan Sosa and his friends to go grab that iron, then meet back up with another teen named Jalen J6 Wheeler and his group of friends from Stanton Glen. As the two groups meet, J6 would begin to square up and prepare to fight. But a young Quan Sosa would up dog from his dip, crushing his Vic, hitting at him 5 to 6 times, causing him to drop. The shooting location would be behind Liff's Market, only minutes away from Ballou High. After the shooting, Quan Sosa and his friends would flee the scene. Allegedly, J6 was still conscious after being hit up with blood on his tee. Laying on his back, he was say, "I feel it everywhere." Quan Sosa would be arrested days later, but would be released on the box and would have to spend every day at his granny's 1-bedroom apartment. But eventually, he would be let off the box as long as he follows the judge's guidelines to go to school and to work. After being released from the box, his DNA would match the DNA of the murder weapon. But lucky for Quan Sosa, the samples would be destroyed while en route from lab to lab.
Her son, Jalen Wheeler, a Ballou High School student, was killed last week, shot to death in the middle of an argument. But tonight, she is working to turn that pain into action. Stephen Cheetah is live now with the interview you'll see only on 7. Stephen?
Allison, the mother of the 15-year-old gunned down right behind me here in Southeast D.C., has 2 tasks ahead. She is preparing to bury her son, and she is organizing a march to end gun violence.
An argument, apparently among teens, led to gunfire. 15-year-old Ballou High School student Jalen Wheeler shot and killed.
I shouldn't have to be planning a funeral. I should be planning graduation and prom and, helping him with his driver's license.
Kamika Wheeler is no stranger to loss. The death of her son, just the latest in a string of violent deaths, including Jalen's father.
I lost my brother to gun violence. I lost his father to gun violence. And we just lost 2 cousins within 1 year to gun violence.
The most recent killing, that of her beloved teenage son, has Wheeler in a constant state of anguish. She says Jalen was poetic and sympathetic, and when sorrow gripped her, he would try to ease the pain.
He always would say, "Ma, it's gonna be better days. Whatever we're going through, we're gonna get through this."
Now, without her son to comfort her, Wheeler is driven to take action. She is calling for a unified fight against gun violence.
Y'all get into some type of beef, that's what they call it, that y'all could talk it out. It don't have to lead to gun violence.
The march will take place tomorrow night from Ballou High School down Alabama Avenue to the spot where Jalen Wheeler was killed. Now, as far as any suspects or arrests in this case, nothing on that front. Reporting live, Stephen Cheetah, ABC 7 News.
Next topic will be the tall step story and him getting stopped trying to spin 640, allegedly tall step and 5. Others were in a car fishing around 640. When another car noticed them in the fishbowl, whip and flushes the whip. Tall step and another man would be hit, but the other person would survive. ST6. JodyBoof was one of the 5 in that car when this occurred, and he is also the brother of Tall Step. In songs, 3,500 members diss Tall Step by mentioning a car that got stopped and how they tried to slide in a fishbowl and got deceased. No suspects will ever be caught for this. After this, JodyBoof would seek vengeance on his op for the love of his brother.
We welcome you back with another sad story of a young life lost to gun violence in the district. And D.C. police could use your help solving this murder. Someone shot into a car on Upshur Street in Northwest Friday afternoon, killing a 16-year-old and injuring his friend. Detectives believe that shooting is connected to a bullet-riddled car found a few blocks away. News 4's Shamari Stone has the story.
People in this Northwest D.C. neighborhood are concerned, saddened, stunned over the death of another teen due to gun violence. Let's take a look here. 16-year-old Kassius Glay, a student at Bell Multicultural High School, was killed and another man was wounded. Someone opened fire on this white Honda. Kassius and the man who was his friend were sitting inside the car around Thursday afternoon. They crashed into this woman's two cars on the 600 block of Upshur Street Northwest. Police found a white Mercedes with several bullet holes around 5 blocks away at Princeton Place and Warder Street Northwest. But there was no one inside the car. Detectives believe that both scenes are related. Police want your help with this case. They urge anyone with information to call D.C. Police, and there is a reward of up to $25,000 for information that leads to an arrest and a conviction. Shamari Stone, News 4.
Tonight, Chief Investigative Reporter Eric Flack shows us the pain that victims' families feel when their loved one's killer remains on the loose.
He was our Superman, really. He was.
I'm gonna spend the whole life there.
You all were very close.
Yeah, our family is close. We all we got.
I didn't know if I was going to show this to you or not.
Yeah, I've never seen this before.
On an unsolved homicide flyer, Juanita Culbreth and her daughter Juane see a smile the world never got enough of.
I don't know what that signifies to you.
It's hurtful. It's heartbreaking. My son is on a poster because he's a homicide victim. I can't even cry. This was never in our plans.
The plan for 16-year-old Kassius Jeremiah Glay was to walk across the stage, a proud high school graduate. But just weeks before the honors student got that chance, Kassius was killed by gunfire in broad daylight. His mom says Kassius was sitting in a car in the Parkview neighborhood in Northwest D.C. at 11:30 in the morning when he was murdered. 5 other people in the car with him were not injured, including family friends and his 14-year-old brother.
I can still hear. I can hear my son clear as day, screaming, I'm sorry, Mom, he's dead.
That was May 28th, 2021. More than a year later, Kassius remains on D.C. Police's growing list of unsolved homicide cases.
But no arrests have been made as of today, 418 days later. And that's my fear, that Kassius' case will be unsolved.
Kassius' mom is frustrated, but not just with detectives here at D.C. Police for not making an arrest in her son's case so far, but also with anybody out there who might know what happened to Kassius and hasn't come forward.
If we were a community, there's no way you would let whoever shoot someone's baby down in the street and don't open up your mouth. That's not loving your neighbor.
So far, not even a $25,000 reward has been enough to help D.C. Police bring justice and closure to Kassius' family.
When they find his killer, they'll put closed up on here.
I'll be glad to see that day.
They've agreed to sit down with WUSA 9 for an interview next week about the growing number of unsolved murders in the district. In the meantime, if you know anything about the murder of Kassius Glay or any of those shootings we reported on before Eric's story, you can leave an anonymous tip by calling 202-727-9099 or texting 50411.
A month ago, there was a terrible car accident in Washington, D.C. But unfortunately, it was actually turned out to be much worse than just a car accident with a couple of totaled cars. This was a scene of a shooting. It's still unsolved. 16-year-old Kassius Glay was shot and killed in the aftermath or during that accident. Still unclear exactly what happened. Juanita Culbreth joins us, the mother of Kassius, and Glay, the father of Kassius. Welcome to you both. I am so sorry for your loss. Welcome to Newsmax. Juanita, we heard you on the news there, the local news. Do you still feel that way?
Absolutely.
What are Americans not talking about that they should be talking about when it comes to violence across America?
So if I may, I think I also agree with Juanita's comments, but there's also a larger scope. I think collectively as a nation, we have to start caring when this happens. I think it's easy for us to kind of look at this as, oh, it's a black community problem, or it's just the dad or the mom that lost their kid. And sometimes we run this narrative that puts it in a certain perspective. But the reality is, collectively, if this nation does not care when this happens, then the commentary from the sideline for people that are not involved, that do care, doesn't impact our mission and our goal.
For either of you, I'd like to know a little bit more about Kassius, what he was like, what were his hobbies.
Kassius is a smart, very smart, intelligent boy. Some would even call him a nerd. He's so smart, loving, caring, very respectful all the time. Kassius loved to help people, always helping someone, always bringing children home for me to help. Very smart. Kassius has so many goals.
But I want to emphasize immediately right now there's something we can do. A GoFundMe page has been set up to benefit. Here it is, the Kassius Khan Coming Home Memorial Fund. And we're glad that we have exceeded the goal there so far, but we know that a million different expenses pop up at times like this, and it sounds like you've got ambitions to turn this horrible tragedy maybe someday into something positive. Juanita,
Absolutely.
I wish you the best. Stay in touch. Let us know if Newsmax can be of any help. Juanita Colbreth and Glay. And again, our condolences for the loss of your 16-year-old son, Kassius Glay. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity, and we want to extend an email address to anyone that would like to join us in this mission of saving these young people and actually doing the work. It's longlivecassius@gmail.com. All the words spelled out, and his name is Kassius.
That's the end of this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. Follow at StroffingDMV on Instagram, and let me know in the comments what stories I should do next.